Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here being bored, nothing to do, so I figured we'd make a video. Still not really much to do. It is 2:57. Shit. I need to get my crystals out of the window because they're done charging. Hold on. My crystals. I gotta put them back. Oh, wait. Shit. Shit. This book. Sorry. I'm making a mess. This book. Spooky Great Lakes. I figured we could do the story out of this. Ooh, let's do Red Rover, the Toledo, Ohio one. That sounds like fun. 66. I went past it. Okay. Red Rover in Toledo, Ohio. I took command of the Red Rover shortly after Captain Shaughnessy was killed on 10 Mile Creek just below Toledo. The Rover was a good ship, very sturdy, and we ran cargo all over Lake Erie. We made a good profit, and I was pleased with my new command. But as the months went by, I became convinced that my crew and I were not the only ones aboard the ship. It usually happened at dusk. When I stood on deck watching the stars slowly fill the night sky, I'd feel a presence standing behind me, watching night fall over the massive lake. As the gulls settled on the water and the shoreline disappeared in the darkness, I saw a shadow that was darker than the air around it. It was an outline of a man in a captain's uniform and hat. Shaughnessy, is that you? I whispered one evening to the shadow figure beside the mast. A small breeze whipped around me, almost blowing off my hat. I clapped a hand to save it and glared at the shadow by the mast. It vanished. I marched away a bit too briskly, heart pounding with supernatural dread. After a calming drink in my cabin, I decided there was nothing harmful about the shadow figure. Nessie, that's what we're going to call him for short, was just watching over the Red Rover. Same as he'd done in life, but decided not to mention it to the mate or any of the crew. Sailors were a superstitious lot. We were on a cargo run to the north of the lake, sailing against a mighty headwind when the mate sang out, "Captain, we sprung." Oh my gosh. When the mate sung out, "Captain, we've sprung a leak." It was a serious one. More than a foot of water was already inside the hold, and it was rising too fast for my liking. If this kept up, we'd be on the bottom in no time, and most of the crew couldn't swim. "Man the pumps," I said briskly, and the crew set to. With everyone working flat out, we were able to make headway against the rising water level, but we couldn't stop the leak. I thought we could save the rover and ourselves, but we'd have to keep the leak under control and limp her to port as fast as we could safely go. When the water was down far enough, I ordered a break. The men flopped to the floor, gasping for breath. We watched tensely as the water crept back up. I'd keep my eye on a knot in the wood, reckoning we could wait until the water reached it before pumping again. At 9 minutes, water was lapping over the knot. I ordered everyone back on the pumps. We alternated pumping with 10-minute breaks for many hours, while the mate and a skeleton crew kept us sailing toward harbor. At first, I tried putting the men into shifts to give them more time to rest, but the water rose too fast. We had to pump with all available hands, making do as best as we could, with 10-minute breaks. Hours later, with the Red Rover still fighting its way through the stubborn wind and large waves, I called a short halt and sent the men to lie down in their bunks. I would let them rest for 20 minutes this time. It would put us behind, but the men would collapse if they continued at this pace. I sat on edge of the bunk with my timepiece, glad to rest for a moment. I stared barely at the face of my pocket watch. 20 minutes, no more, just 20 minutes. Someone grabbed me painfully by the hair, jerking me awake. I was dragged out of bed, thrown to the floor. My scalp burned with pain. I reached up and felt a bald patch where the hair had been completely torn out. What in the name of... I scrambled to my feet, roaring with anger. There was no one in my cabin and no running footsteps from fleeing intruder. I heard nothing except wind and waves and snoring from crew's quarters. Wait, that wasn't right. The leak, the pumps. I panicked, reaching for my pocket watch. I'd been so exhausted, I'd fallen asleep. For how long? We were swamped. Was the ship going down? I found the watch in the bedclothes and opened it with trembling fingers. Dear Lord, we've been asleep for nearly 3 hours. We were doomed. I couldn't believe we weren't already at the bottom of the lake. I bellowed for the crew and heard them falling out of their bunks, swearing as they realized we'd overslept. Everyone raced for the hold, expecting every second to find ourselves wading waist deep in water. The hold was empty of water. We skidded into a halt, staring in amusement. How could this be? The skeleton crew had no time to come down and pump. Even if they'd known about the extended break, had the leak sealed itself, it was impossible. At that moment, a translucent figure appeared directly behind the closest pump and gestured sternly at me, indicating that the sailor should work the pumps. The message was clear. I've done enough. Now it's your turn. I realized it was the ghost of Captain Nessie, who pulled me from my bunk just now. He had saved our lives by manning the pumps for 3 hours while we slept. The phantom bowed slightly to me and vanished. Holy Mary, Mother of God, breathed the sailor, grabbing for his rosary. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who could see the captain's ghost. Glancing towards the corner with the leak, I saw that the pool of water was forming and was not pouring in like before, but we would still need to keep sailors on the pumps until we reached port. What are we waiting for? I said briskly, gesturing at the incoming water. Someone take care of that. Aye, aye, gasped a sailor. His words broke the spell. They leapt into action, some to man the pumps and some to relieve the busy skeleton crew. I found the first mate at the helm. He had kept us on course this whole while, not knowing that the rest of the crew had overslept while a ghost manned the pumps. I sent the mate to rest and took over the helm. While the rested sailors received their comrades. I could hear the men whispering all around me. I knew the ghost story was making the rounds of the strip. When we reached harbor, the crew unloaded the cargo as fast as humanly possible. Then, to a man, they abandoned ship. No one wanted to work aboard a haunted vessel. I didn't blame them. I grabbed my own belongings and walked off the Red Rover at their heels. After reporting the leak and the ghost to the proper authorities, I resigned my commission and got out of town. I was grateful to the former Captain Nessie for saving our lives, but I wasn't willing to share my command with anyone, dead or alive. I head over to Buffalo and find me a brand new ship to captain, one without ghosts. That was cute. It wasn't nothing scary, but it's cute. It's cute. We read it. Maybe we will do another one in a couple of days. Right now, we just did that one. Anyways, if you could, please smash that like button so I know you like these videos. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Turn on your notification bell so you never miss another video. I'll see you guys in the next one with our spooky Great Lakes stories. Love you guys. Bye.